my problem is that super intelligence would be, okay, this is what's right. You're always going to be inside this box. You know, what is creativity? It's thinking outside the box. You're out here now.
That's what we think. The creativity could be all those solutions in that box itself. We think we're thinking outside the box, but it's still in the box.
Technically,
It might be the edges of the box.
Technically, no matter what you do, you will always be in the box, which is the universe.
I would completely agree because Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin's.
He's my hero.
Jimmy who?
You know Jimmy Page. So he's Led Zeppelin's
the guitarist.
You know what he said? He said, "I wouldn't be half the guitarist I am if it weren't for LSD."
Yeah.
So that tells you that his creative boundaries were expanded only because of a chemical reaction. That
any way to interpret the world in a different state of consciousness is good.
And I can kind of speak to that too. Like I've tried magic mushrooms, and with that experience, like my understanding, I mean, that led to this podcast, So like, because that experience and that emotions of just complete bliss of like happiness. Yeah, pretty much that. Like, you just wake up and like, whoa. You start like
fantasy.
Keep going.
That's a good segue into something.
I have no idea what's happening.
Into infinity.
But taking some sort of like substance that releases like a chemical reaction that brings you to a different reality, and like, holy shit, like, what the fuck? You feel like your whole life has, in a sense, for me, been a waste. I've been doing things that didn't matter. Now I wake up, I see like a grid of like math. I try to see like geometry, and like I've seen patterns more than ever. So every time I'm walking from work and back to work, I always stop and like kind of just feel the atoms of wind just kind of grazing by me. I'm like, holy shit, I'm made of the same substance that is just fucking moving my fucking hair.
I think
it's kind of weird, bro.
And then you go crazy.
Did I jump in front of the train? Like,
too much.
Enough.
You got too happy.
Yeah.
No, but feel the momentum.
It just like
too much dopamine.
Yeah, and it just changes like
dope.
It just changes your it just changes your outlook in life, and I could see how LSD or maybe even weed or other sort of like hallucinogens.
I think the way I sometimes think about drugs is like they make you, suppose if you're an instrument, they make your resolution grow higher, It's just you have more variables to fill. So if you were tasting three tastes before, like your sense of taste, it just has 3 categories. Now it's increased to 7.
It's amplified. Your experience is getting more. So like when I tried it, right? So like that thing just opens up your level of experience. So like your senses are just amplified so much. You can hear things more. You can see things more. You can
actually listen in 3D. That's what I felt.
Have you tried it?
Not on mushrooms, no.
Okay, wait.
Nothing.
You've heard stories.
I'm a grass farmer and just stuck to that.
But that's why they call it an altered state. Going back to the box, imagine you're in the top right corner of the box. That's where your mind has been. That's how you've lived your whole life.
You've been programmed to live there.
And then when you have an altered state inducing substance, it moves you to another corner. Now you have a whole new perspective. You can almost look back at that corner you were in before.
That's a really good way to
be like, whoa.
Yeah, and the point is the box has always existed in its entirety.
You just needed this tool to help you access it and see and perceive it. It's always been there, but you never even paid attention to it because you didn't have this tool. The same way, like I didn't have a way to send you a text while you were driving. I didn't send a pigeon out there to see where you were at. Now I got this tool that allows you to give you a different,
This makes me feel so much more that there is no free will. If there is no outside of the box and all of the possibilities exist in this box, and it always has.
This is it. That's the point. This is it. That's the thing, and it's fine.
It's a series of if reactions.
Yeah.
If this, then that.
It's
just a bunch of if
then logic statements, right? So if I say this in this tone, how are you gonna react? And then whatever chemical reaction you can have, a really person that's
might take dope
from the outside that created this maybe can mathematically predict all these reactions that you're gonna have. I'm gonna have exactly what I'm saying because it's just if then logic statements are just happening.
So we're all programmed. We're all kind of like AI.
Not that we're programmed. I feel we're more like chemical reactions.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of undo it, like how you were saying earlier. If you drop that glass and it shatters, like our thought process is probably the same way, and you can kind of undo it
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that we are all programmed over time. What's
Sure.
marketing doing to you? What
Yes.
all the emotions you feel through your life? That's
Sure.
know. So something happens to me. That's how I'm going
Right.
to react. It's because something happened earlier. So I am
Right.
programmed throughout my life.
Sure,
And that's a reaction to the memories you have recorded, your genes, and how they react to the marketing. Because not everyone is going to react the same way.
Of course.
Correct. So
It's
you
how
can,
you're programmed.
correct. So you can take solace in the fact that you're the only one in
Programmed
the
like
history
that.
of ever that's programmed this way.
Yeah.
There's nobody
That's
who
true.
has
Yeah,
ever
it's the-
existed
this
or
is
will
a-
ever exist
yeah.
that has your experience.
That's the perception.
Exactly.
Thanks, man. I feel special.
The perception.
special.
As you said there, they're
He
possibly.
just programmed you.
He just
Wow.
conditioned you right
Yeah.
now.
I'm special.
A lot of dope just went into my head.
Hey Ma, guess what? I learned today I'm special.
You were always right, Ma. You always believed in me.
Yeah, we're all hosts that way.
I guess so.
The point is that even though, like as you said, yes, we are all programmed in a certain way because our molecules are behaving in a certain way, and they have to be in particular configurations. And
They have to follow the laws of nature,
Yeah,
otherwise, what
yes.
defies
So
us?
that basically is in a sense a kind of a programming. However, there is a perceived sense of infinite possibilities.
Yep.
Let's put it that way. Okay, because
And you're-
nobody knows infinity, right? There's a
Yeah.
finite number. It's so large that we perceive it as infinite. So we can actually every single moment we can live as if we have free will and never realize it that we don't
Yeah.
because it does not matter.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
and that's the
That's
same
what-
way I look at it. I don't believe there is free will, but it doesn't matter because
Yeah.
it's all subjective. I can tell that I do or don't. But
Yeah.
when you really study the universe or try to understand it, you kind of get to a logic understanding there isn't any.
Yeah.
So it's like
And-
technically there's no free will.
yes.
I think no.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you can say technically there's no free will,
Yeah,
but there kind of is.
'Cause-
'Cause it's infinite possibilities.
Listen to Sam Harris how he talks about free will. He doesn't. You don't even have to go on a cosmic level. You can just go and sit down. Go in an empty room where there's no voice or sound and sit down. Who's talking in your head?
Yeah.
Who's doing all this? You start talking to yourself and you start going to random thoughts. You're not controlling anything. You're not under control.
Of course, it's
Just
God talking. to me.
Something you notice that
That's
you're
silly.
like you talked about you're brushing your
Yeah.
teeth and then somehow you're thinking about something 15 years
Right.
ago that you didn't. One thing led to another and then that thought came in. You did not build that thought. It just
It's the bicameral mind.
yeah.
That actually happened to me just today, this morning.
It's
I was
happening
just
to me right now.
just brushing my teeth. I always bring this up, but today it was a little different. I started thinking about a week ago where a guy cut me off while I was driving.
Did you get angry?
Just something. No, I didn't get angry, but it was such a mundane thing, and I'm like, why am I thinking of this? Who triggered this thought in my mind? Like I have no control sometimes.
Yeah.
For a
Banana.
second, I thought you said you were brushing your feet. I was like, what?
That's what I said.
And wow, there's another possibility.
And in
With
these,
feet based.
This box is growing.
and these conversations are in the same way where we already know a response before I know a response. Like that's so fucking weird. You know, like as you were talking, I automatically knew to say this without even me knowing I have to say this. Like it's kind
Yeah.
of weird. Like if you go
Yeah.
that level,
Like how are we talking
like-
right now? Where are these words coming from? I'm just
I
speaking,
feel-
speaking. I'm not even thinking about
yeah,
it.
I
like,
feel like
it's
I-
fucking weird.
I feel like I'm having a Bernard moment right now.
Fucking stoners.
yeah, you
like-
start glitching.
you have the makeup right now with the
Yeah.
beard and
You
everything.
gotta
Yeah.
go.
You gotta
Oh
go.
no.
Just get those glasses right
Hold
down
on.
here.
Just to wipe.
Oh, there you go.
Hold
Wipe
on
it.
one second. Let me do something right here and you start glitching.
I just freeze.